All right, welcome back to another daily dose of Mynar. Guys, we're going to be covering step 2 of the 10-step process. I believe in repeating. Remember, the 5 parts to learning is repeating. So I'll start off by repeating, which you guys are probably tired of me saying the word repeat, but oh well. So I repeat for a reason. But we just covered step 1, which was entry. The purpose was get in the vault, right? And the time investment was as long as it takes. That's right. So we just covered step 1, just kind of reinforcing that because I want to get you guys utilizing it, so I keep repeating it. So let's move to step 2. You guys will hear me say, or you'll hear things talked about, it'll say, what's the most important step? You might want to write that down. What's the most important step of the 10-step? What's the most important step of the 10-step? The most important step of the 10-step is the step you're in. There is no one step more important than another. It's the step that you're in at the time. Now, I say this because I want you to understand that out of all the steps, step 2 is very important just as well. But step 2 is like to me, one of the biggest impacts of the entire process. It's the one that I have the hardest time teaching guys to do. You have to have it naturally. Step 2 is warm up. What is warm up? Well, warm up is getting to know that person. So write this down. Make a friend, you make a sell. You have to make a friend to make a sell. And you need warm up to do that. Now, I've been watching you two all morning, right off the bat, and all you guys have been doing is warming up to each other. You don't know each other, you never met each other. But you've been warming up all morning, building friendship, trust, relationship, all kinds of stuff. You've been naturally doing warm up. Friend needs to borrow money from you. Does he just show up, knock on your door, and ask you for $100? Well, typical friend, good friend. Does he just show up, knock on your door, and say, "Can I borrow $100?" No. What does he do?
Warms you up.
Heck yeah, he does. He comes over, he warms up with you, talks to you, asks you how you doing, how's life, what's been going on, how's the kids, how's the wife, how was vacation, how's that fishing going, right? He spends that time with you. Then he comes to you with borrowing the money. But there's a lot more to that story he actually does to you. It's pretty cool because you can actually use the 10-step in a way to borrow money from people. You can use the 10-step in about everything you do. Seriously. So, warm up. Well, what's the purpose of warm up? I just gave it to you. The purpose of warm up is to make a friend. Because if you make a friend, you're going to make a sell. So the whole purpose is to build trust with them, become friends with them, so they can trust you, know who you are, right? And what's the time investment in warm up? Warm up is typically 30 to 45 minutes. You need to get at least 30 to 45 minutes, guys. Thinking that they like you in 5 minutes, thinking that you can go straight to business now and you can present the product to them, it doesn't work, man. You have got to spend time with them. You got to spend that first 30 to 45 minutes with them warming up. Because let me tell you a little secret about people that doesn't know people and they don't know you. Do you know, and write this down, buyers are liars. Buyers are liars. When's the last time you were walking through the mall and a kid was trying to sell you a cell phone? And you said, "Oh, no, I don't need it." Or someone was trying to sell you and what's the first thing out of your mouth? "I don't need it." I already got one. You don't even have one. You lie too. We all lie to people if we're trying to be sold something. We don't know them. Buyers are liars. And the first 30 to 45 minutes of spending time with the buyer, everything that comes out of their mouth, you may want to write this down, everything that comes out of a person's mouth in the first 30 to 45 minutes is vomit. It's garbage. It's lies. It's crap. It's misdirection. Right? They don't know you yet. They think you're trying to sell them something. So they're going to tell you a bunch of lies and a bunch of garbage. Some of the most common lies, "Well, I can't afford it. This might be something that we'll do in the future. I'm not buying anything today." Remember my story earlier? Guy told me 130 some odd times I'm not buying today. I didn't believe that. Had a lady do that up north. Tell me the same thing. She must have told me maybe 30 times. Can't buy anything. But she was different. She kept telling me she can't buy anything because she can't afford to, because she's still making truck payments. So I said, well, when's your truck payments in? She goes, they're like March of next year. I said, oh, okay. All right. Well, don't worry, ma'am. It's okay. Let me at least present everything to you, so when the time does come that you're ready to buy, you'll know what that is you're going to buy. So I took the pressure off her and the stress off her, right? And she kept telling me, you know, Mike, God, I'd love this. Through the presentation, you know, I'd really love to buy this. And I said, trust me, just don't worry about it. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. My favorite words, too, pleasantly surprised of what could happen. So, guys, I got to the end. She was in love with the product. She was in love with everything. But she turned to me and she says, well, Mike, like I told you earlier, I can't do anything until I pay off my truck payment. I didn't let that bother me, because it come to find out it was the real truth, right? I turned to her, I said, well, ma'am, what if I told you I could get the product on your house next month? I don't want any money out of your pocket, and your first payment's not going to start until April. Wait, May. She goes, what? You could do that? I said, yes, ma'am. I could defer your first payment 6 months. It was a program I had, right? She goes, really? I said, you can get the product now. Don't spend any money, and the first payment won't start till May. That gives you almost 2 months after you finish your truck payment. And she's like, where do I sign? And here this poor lady was earlier, kept telling me that I can't do it. You know how many people have told me they can't afford something? Everybody says they can't afford it. Trust me, though, when somebody really wants something and they're afraid of losing something, they have a magical way to afford it. There's no doubt about that. But that is the most common way. I use it to this day, and I got money. I can afford it. But we say, no, we're broke. It's my magic words, me and my wife. We're broke. We're broke. No, I'm broke. Sorry. Right? So it's very important, guys, that the first 30 to 45 minutes, man, they're just going to tell you lies. Do not fall for the crap. My credit's bad. I'm broke. I can't afford anything. I got kids going to college I got to pay for. Right? You hear all these crazy excuses, man. They're excuses. All they are is a smokescreen, because the customer is scared. They're afraid. They're fearful, right? So please just remember, once you get in the house, don't get mixed up in what they're telling you. Because what step am I in and what's its purpose? What step am I in now? I'm in warm-up. You don't talk business. You don't worry about that stuff. That doesn't matter. You can take note of certain things. I got bad credit, fine. But don't immediately go into something else, because the demo creates a sell. So follow the steps. Don't shortcut. Guy says I can't afford it, and you get caught up in an argument and warm up about, oh, I bet you can't afford it because I can save you $30 a month. You just blew it away. You just gave it away. Don't get caught up in that. What step am I in? What's the purpose? I'm in warm up. You can't afford it? Oh, I completely understand, sir. That's not a problem. But by the way, how long you guys lived here? What did I just do? I redirected back to warm up. Stay in warm up, because I need to get them to trust me. I need to spend that time with them. 30 to 45 minutes, because you're going to need at least 30 minutes of that with the wife. Because who's the real buyer?
The boss, the wife.
The wife. Who wears the pants? Who makes the decision? Who's the hardest to get you to trust? To trust you?
The husband seems like.
No, it's the wife.
Really?
The husbands are easy. You just find something in common with them. Hunting, fishing, cars, whatever it is. Pictures on the wall, sports. 15 minutes later, man, it's like dudes are bonding like you guys. 15 minutes later, you guys are like best freaking friends, right? Yeah. It's easy for guys.
Maybe I'm just better with the
But women need to trust. So you got to build that trust. And what's really cool is you build more trust with that woman like that. The man's going to look at you and go, wow, it took me like 3 months to get her to trust me to go on a date. Or whatever. He'll remember that. He goes, wow, she trusts you. I trust you automatically. So warm-up is very important. Now, questions to ask in warm-up. I've created some questions to help you get warm-up. These questions also have a purpose behind them. They are able to gain information and intel and data that you will be able to use later. So it's like multi-purpose. First question I love to ask right off the bat is, how long have you guys lived here? How long have you lived here? How long have you been here? You know why I asked that question? Because to them, it just sounds like you're chatting. You're asking a question, right? But for me, I can look around the house. I can see what kind of pride of ownership they have, what kind of work they've done on the house. I can see a lot of things, right? And if they've only been there a year, well, are they into investing in their house? Maybe they just got in. They want to invest into it, right? They've been there 20 years and they still got 1962 shag carpet or 72 shag carpet and pink sinks. Yeah. They ain't made no improvements. Uh-oh. There's no pride of ownership here. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to obtain that information. I'm a scout. That's data I can use for my presentation. It doesn't affect anything, but to them it sounds like warm-up. How long you been here? Next question, and I like to ask the husband, just, well, because he's mainly one taking the lead in the beginning. What do you do for a living? Now, generally when I ask them how long they live there, that can turn into a 5 to 10 minute conversation sometimes, right? I want 30 to 45 minutes. So the first question, give me 5 to 10 minute conversation. The second question, what do you do for a living, can be another 5 to 10 minutes. Oh, really? You work at the college? You're a coach? Man. Oh, and you teach history? Oh, that's fantastic. How long you been doing that? Where'd you go to school? See how I can lead into multitudes of questions to get to know them, right? And then I can tell them a story about me. I wanted to be a teacher. That's why I'm doing these videos, why I teach, because I love teaching. Except I joined the Marine Corps and I guess I was too dumb to go to college, right? So I'll never be a certified teacher, as close as I'll get, right? But that's what I want to be, so I create a story. And I start telling my story. Now they're getting to know me, a little more personable. We're finding out about them. You guys were doing it. How old are you? Well, you don't want to ask them that, but you guys were doing it. Where are you? On Shingletown. I grew up around here. I went to this school. I went to, see what's happening, right? That's the same thing, right? So what do you do for a living? And then I'll turn to the wife, and you'll know if she's a stay-at-home mom. You see a bunch of kid toys around, you know that she's a stay-at-home mom. Be careful, but I like to turn to her and I go, so what do you do for a living? Wait, let me guess. You got the hardest job of all. And she's like, yeah. I said, man, my wife does too. But if she doesn't, what do you do for a living? Well, I work at the lawyer's office, or I work at DMV, or I work here. Oh, that is fantastic. Ask questions about it, get to know it, and then tell her some of your stories. Oh, you know, my aunt works for DMV. You know, you'll find some connections somewhere, right? Just off of that question. So all of a sudden, there's another 5 to 10 minutes. You're anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes into warm up with 2 questions. Then the third question I like to ask: what type of improvements have you guys done to the house since you lived here? Well, we redid the carpet, we painted the house, we redid the roof, we redid our kitchen. I want to know these things because there's a good percentage of the chance that they got some work done and it was done crappy. And they're going to tell you about how crappy the work was done. Let them tell you, let them get that emotion out, because you're learning that when you're talking about your company and your products and stuff later, you're going to say the right things against the crap that they already dealt with, reassuring them that that won't happen again. So it's like you're learning this data and information. I used to tell customers all the time, I'm like, man, as long as I've been doing this, I could write a book and probably be on the New York Times bestseller for amount of jobs that contractors mess up. Tile work out of place, roofs done wrong, shingles blown off a year later, right? Solar products not being connected properly, not energized right. Hear those stories, that's great. But if they tell you a story about how great it was, and they love their contractor that did their kitchen cabinets, jump up real quick, go look at them. Rebuild the excitement in them. Because you remember when you got the new car? It was awesome for 3 months. And then after 3 months, it's just another car. Just like a new shirt, brand new shirt. First time I wore it.